Alright guys, hello and welcome back to the next episode of our F1M24 career mode. First episode of the final season, as we're going to be heading into Spain with Fernando Alonso and Sergio Perez. Looking at the tracks, we don't have any sprint races for the first episode. We're going to go ahead and manually do Spain, and then we're going to simulate Imola and Budapest, or Hungary as a lot of people say it. And I realize we have a double header for sprint weekends in the next episode. But I don't want to do China for a third season in a row. So we're gonna simulate China, Miami, and then do a sprint weekend in Australia. That'll be interesting. But we have Spain, Imola, and Budapest for this episode, and our car parts that we've done for the race. We are manufacturing the chassis. I believe we already have, we have side pods, suspension, underfloor. We're working on underfloor. We're working on chassis right now. Underfloor, front wing, rear wing, suspension. All the rest of the parts are coming in, hopefully for the next episode. Since we don't have, where's the screen I'm looking for? Yeah, China, Miami, Melbourne. So it'll be maybe Miami, but we'll get all the parts ready by Australia for the most part, which I'm really hoping for. As we I wrote some notes down from the last episode, or the preseason episode, and looked at the final episode of season 4. The transfers that happened, if you guys didn't do them yourselves, we had Perez. We pulled Perez from Red Bull to High Tech, and Lindblad filled that spot in Red Bull. Vesti left High Tech GP, went to Aston Martin. Hamilton retires from Aston Martin in the 2027 season. And then Andretti Cadillac, I didn't realize this at first. Andretti Cadillac dropped to their lineup of Giovinazzi and Van Dorn for Ricciardo and Bottas. So they're both returning drivers, and Bottas is a prospect for Cadillac in the actual 2026 season, which I'm really hoping for. And that would be a great lineup to have them actually on the team, but we still have a lot of time between now and the 2026 season of the time of recording this. But yeah, the show must go on. We're getting into our race targets for the weekend here in Spain. I feel confident that our guys can... Oh, he's still farther back. Okay. Like our second driver. Vesti was the same way.
Thank you for joining us for the Spanish Grand Prix here in Barcelona. The beginning of a brand new Formula One season. Every team, every driver, whether rookies or champions, all start here on zero, ahead of another year's battle for glory. Exciting weekend ahead at Red Bull with a brand new driver on board of their car. Stay with us then as the weekend gets underway.
All right, there we have it. So we're gonna go ahead and knock out all of our stuff. Looks like a very clean, dry weekend for us here in Spain. So we're gonna go ahead and knock out practice. See you guys for qualifying. All right, as we're here in practice, get a look at the new liveries. You can see the simple livery we have, the black with the red highlight. More importantly, we have one of the Ferraris out. That's going to be Verstappen. See the flash of yellow on the Ferrari. I don't know how to say the guy's name, but the mod is in the description. Looks really good. It was either this mod or the blackout with the red highlight for Ferrari. We are waiting to see when McLaren comes out on track to take a look at that Monster Energy McLaren, as we are waiting for our drivers to do their setups. So we're just simming forward to see when they can get out on track. Piastri and Norris still a strong lineup for the team. There comes Ricardo, Daniel Ricardo.
Is it that working properly?
Daniel Ricardo returns to the grid. And then Valtteri Bottas, after being a free agent, after having us being with us for half a season in season 3, so they have something to prove coming back onto the track. But we're still waiting for that McLaren to come out. They are sitting there for a minute. It's been about 8 minutes now. There's Joe in the Audi. Gasly. So this is basically the process that we do during practice, is we just run a setup simulation. There is Piastri coming out onto the track. I'm trying to blank on who made the mod, but they did come over from the EA F1 games to make a livery for F1 Manager. Did a really great job. It looks really good. That splash of yellow to green there on the engine cover looks really nice. Because from this T-Pod perspective, it looks normal. And you have the flash of white on the back half of the car. Looks really good. Really outdone yourself. So there are our 3 liveries for the season that have been changed. I forgot to change that livery. Marlboro. Yeah, I forgot to change the halo. Not supposed to be Marlboro, but we will change that after this episode, or after this race, I should say. But that was our liveries. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up our practice sessions, and we'll see you guys for qualifying. All right, here are the results for practice 3. Pierre Gasly getting the top time, 1:14.2, ahead of the Ferrari and the Cadillac of Valtteri Bottas. And that Fernando Alonso, Sergio Perez, we were working on track acclimatization. So we hit the 100% on there, 74% car part knowledge, 97% setups for Alonso, because we couldn't just we dialed it in as best as we could. We just couldn't get it for him, but that is fine. So our guys are ready for qualifying.
We're moving on now to the all-important qualifying session.
Teams often bring upgrades to Barcelona, so the qualifying order could be a little shaken up. Cars need to be well balanced in both high and low speed corners to set a good lap here.
Here's Fernando Alonso. Big question, how have things been for him heading into this qualifying session?
Well, Crofty, here is a driver who's just oozing confidence right now. We could see the impact it's having, and I'm sure that'll carry through to qualifying.
You're going to want to join us for this, folks, so fasten your seatbelts.
That was a very nice shot. But what we're gonna do for a second, we're gonna go ahead and quick save here and take a look at the R&D chart. What I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna show the current R&D chart on screen. Let me go ahead and pull it up on my end so I can see it as it's on screen. So basically, the R&D chart from the previous save before this point, you have Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull, top 3, high-tech P4 for the R&D chart there. Just above Haas, Andretti, Audi for 5, 6, and 7, Aston Martin, Porsche, Mercedes, and Williams. Mercedes making some ground through the off season. Looks like Williams lost a lot of ground. Porsche made some ground. Aston Martin made a lot of ground, and Red Bull made a lot of ground. They're up there next to McLaren. And then we're gonna go ahead and pull up the new R&D chart. Let's go ahead and give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, now we are pulling up the new R&D chart. The only thing that's changed that Mercedes has gained some ground on Porsche before this race weekend. That's literally the only stat that has changed. So it's going to be an interesting race here in Spain. Let's see what our guys can do in qualifying as we go through the rest of our results, reports. All right, do our usual one lap and get right to it. See what our cars look like coming out of the garage here. All right, first qualifying session of the season. And I realized that Lindblad is the only rookie on the grid this season. It's going to be Gasly out. We'll go ahead and put Perez out first. Who is at the end of the pit lane? Is it still Andretti? Or is it Porsche? Yeah, it's Porsche. Porsche is still at the end of the pit lane. Here's the Gulf Williams of Stroll. And that is the Red Bull of Lindblad. We'll have to keep an eye out, see where his times are. But we're going to go ahead and sim forward to the end of this session for our drivers to see if they can get into Q2, which I don't doubt they can, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, here we are at end of session 1. Perez in the drop zone. 2 personal bests so far in the lap. Let's see where his time ends up. He's got to beat a 120.1, 1279, shooting up to P3, just under 2/10 off the pace. Purple sector for Alonso in sector 2. He's currently sitting in P1. Lindblad, he ran P3 in its first session. He's out there in P8. Good start for a rookie to get him into Q2.
Yep.
There's a good finish. No improvement from what I see. Let's go ahead and sim forward to see what the rest of our drivers are looking at. Lawson moving up into the top 10 in that Haas. And that's going to be our session. Russell, Stroll, Tsunoda, Gasly, Bottas, and Ricciardo. 3 of the 11 teams out in Q1. The Williams, Porsche, and Andretti basically leaving off where they were at. Mercedes making it out of Q1. And Perez, Leclerc, Lindblad. Very interesting. Yeah, Perez, Leclerc, Ferrari, Verstappen back there, P11. Iwasa. See if there can be an improvement from him and the Mercedes. With their improvements, no improvements there. That's going to be us in the Q2. Those 6 drivers out, those 3 teams out. Let's get to Q2. And as always, we will see you guys at the end of this session to see if our guys can get into Q3.
Angry.
All right, end of session 2. Once again, Perez in the drop zone. Both Audis in the drop zone as well. 1 green sector for Perez coming across the line. That's a green sector 3. That's not going to be enough for him to get into Q3. It's going to be Perez out of Q2. Alonso in. See if he can improve. No, that's going to be a negative on that part. Perez. He was running pretty good. Just, oh, Leclerc running a pole. Just 1/10, 3/10 off the pace to get into the top 10. See where our drivers get through. Hauger knocked out, but Iwasa and the Mercedes gets into Q3. Vesti knocked out in the Q2 in the Aston Martin. Ocon makes it in. Both Red Bull, Sargent and Lindblad into the top 10. It's going to be... Let's take a look at this, actually. Perez knocked out. It's going to be both Ferraris both McLarens, both Red Bulls, one Haas, one Mercedes, one Aston Martin, and one high-tech car for the top 10. It'll be very interesting. The battle for the season is going to start with Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull, more than likely. And Lindblad running a very good, getting into Q3 so far. We'll run 2 sets of softs for qualifying for Alonso. Lindblad, rookie, only rookie in the grid, getting into Q3. Overcast for today. Times will improve throughout the rest of the session. See you guys at the end. All right, end of the session. Alonso, we try to get him to go 3 runs. He spun out in sector 2 on the second run. He has a green sector 2, currently sitting P8, half a second off the pace. See where he is at here. 1:10.9. It's gonna be an improvement to P7, but Ocon and Iwasa could have an opportunity to push him back. Sainz P8. This might be a Ferrari lockout for this first race of the season. See where our drivers end up. Lindblad P6, Iwasa no improvement. He goes into the pits. Ocon is coming into the pits as well. So P7 start for Alonso here for this race.
The stage is set here in Barcelona. 66 laps around a track that the drivers know inside and out.
Barcelona is a circuit with plenty of history under its belt. It was here, after all, that multiple world champion Max Verstappen secured his very first F1 victory back in 2016.
Long straights and medium speed turns dominate here, but there's something else to watch out for at Barcelona. The air currents are strong and unpredictable, and they'll be giving aerodynamic components a real run for their money this weekend. The excitement is building, there's electricity in the air, but there's no surprise in that. It's race day. The anticipation is really building here. The fans in attendance are absolutely buzzing with excitement.
They've got to drive a perfect race if they're going to fight up from P7 in this one.
This should certainly be a good one, folks. This is it. It's the Spanish Grand Prix.
5 red lights on the first race of the season.
And it's lights
And
out,
we are
and
off.
away
Gonna
we
be
go.
doing alternate strategies here. Overtake aggression high. And curbs for Perez. We're gonna be trying a 1-stop for Perez with the tire strat. See what he can do here.
You can do this.
We dropped 3 laps of fuel for our drivers. No rain to be seen. A little bit of overcast for the duration of the race. I'm hoping we can pull off this 1-stop with Perez. We'll have to see what that tire life looks like. Alonso P6, Perez P12 currently. Piastri splitting the Ferraris. Lindblad P5 starting within the top 10. We'll be keeping an eye on him throughout the race. Overtake
Let's
on
have a
Lawson
look at
there.
it. Now this is Sergio Perez. The gap
Nice
opens up for
move
them,
on the inside.
and Perez completes the overtake.
Great move there. Alonso trying to put pressure on the rookie. Perez is trying to put pressure on Iwasa. He gets overtaken by Lawson there. So they're back and forth. The 2 Audis next to each other. Behind him.
Focus on
That is
consistency.
fine. We have a lot of race to go here. Lap
DRS
2.
enable.
See Russell trying to make a move on Perez there on the inside. He's going to be way offline. We'll be losing a lot of pace there.
0.2 behind. Keep it up.
So let's take a look at the replay. It was George
I don't
Russell
like these
involved.
camera angles. All right, we're gonna go ahead and sim forward, see what our guys can do. Lap 31, a pit stop for Perez. Lap 21, pit stop for Alonso. We'll see you guys when something happens.
Box this lap.
Okay, box.
All right, here we are at pit window and
Can do it.
pit lap for Alonso. Lindblad overtakes
It's the Red Bull
Perez.
driver.
Perez
And
has
they
made his
squeeze
way
by.
back into the points after a rough start. Nice move there on the rookie's part.
And as a result, 8th place is theirs.
Fighting the guy who took his place, Lindblad. Piastri Ocon into the pits now. Pretty much dialed in on tire life.
Good job.
We're running pretty good with
Racing,
Perez right now.
good
He's
front.
up into P6.
Here's the replay. Now this was on the straight. The opportunity's there.
Nice good
and up
overtake
the
with
order they
DRS. All right, easy move there for Sergio Perez. A lot of drivers coming in for their pits right now. Seems to be a lot of two stops for today's race. Joe hasn't pinned yet. Lindblad, Perez, Sargent, Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen. Some of these drivers may be doing a one stop. We'll have to wait and see. Perez currently sitting P6. Another 10 laps before he comes into the pits. And we are not looking good on fuel. So we're
And
going
we
to
need
go
to
ahead and drop
increase
down a little
lifting
bit
post by 30%.
as Alonso starts his run.
Box.
Starts his pit stop, not run. Take this overtake for a second. Some great fighting by the Red Bull rookie. Nice move on the outside there. All right, let's see what we can do here. No mistakes, just over 2-second pit stop.
Close to Piastri at pit exit.
There goes Perez. Piastri is passing him now. Go ahead and deploy for Perez.
Can use K1.
He is fighting Lindblad right now. We'll go ahead and push
Good
on the
hurry.
out lap for Alonso.
Next car, Piastri.
It's going to be lap 49 for Alonso's pit stop.
Car behind is Joe.
The field is pretty widespread. See where Verstappen is. Just under 10 seconds clear of his teammate. Sargent P3, Norris P4, Lindblad P5, with Perez on his tail. DRS through sector 2.
You need to keep your K1 usage down a bit, otherwise you'll just run out of battery and then you'll
And
just
he
be
lost his
taken by
battery
everybody.
quick there.
Yes.
I think that's one of our downsides is our ERS. For the season, but we'll have to look and see. Perez is going to be looking to make a move on the start-finish straight. Lindblad is pulling away, trying to put pressure on Norris. Norris is trying to pass Sargent up ahead. They're side by side going into turn 1.
Tire freeze update. Vibrations are
And that is going to be a
happening
fight for a
now,
while.
but, I'm not losing grip.
Vibrations. All right, we're going to go ahead and let it play out. We'll see you guys for Perez's pit stop. All right, it's time for Perez's pit stop. Sargent just got fastest lap back down in P9. Alonso P2, Perez P4. And I'm hoping... No, he's not. He's going to be outside of the points after that one stop, but we'll have another set of pit stops for him to try to gain some positions. Alonso fighting for the lead provisionally, I believe. Yeah, Paris is the only person to not pit. Hauger has an
You're
issue.
currently P2.
I believe that's his second pit stop, Hauger. If that would go away, please. Verstappen fighting Alonso on the screen.
Verstappen 1.2 seconds behind.
No, he's ahead of you, dude. Behind. Yellow flag. It's gonna be a spin in the back. Take this overtake. Look at this overtake here. Through sector 2 on the inside. Easy overtake for him. We had that overtake a few laps ago. Gasly had a lock up in turn 4. Hauger is in the pits, coming out on new mediums. Perez in the pits for his pit stop. I really need to change this sponsor. I don't know why it did that. I must have completely forgot about it. 2.2. The goal of the season is try to get our pit stops under 2 seconds, which I feel like we can do. Sonoda in the pits as well, so that helps us a little bit. Paris is going to be on the road for points with the 1 stop. You can see Lawson and Russell fighting for position just at the top of the screen there. Go back to aggressive here and deploy some battery on your out lap. Alonso 4 seconds behind Verstappen. Piastri, Verstappen, Alonso, and then Ocon 10 seconds behind that. Ocon and Vesti. I think Vesti made a good move to Aston Martin. He's holding off a pack though. Albon in P6 in the Audi. Very diverse teams here in the top 10 currently. But the next pit stop we have is going to be Alonso on lap 49. So we're going to go ahead and sim forward, and if something happens before that pit stop, we'll see you then.
Let's go.
Mode in. Box this lap.
Okay, box.
All right, lap 49, Alonso coming in for his pit stop. We have a Mercedes and who is that behind him? Mercedes and Porsche behind him. That's Gasly and Hauger just getting overtaken and lapped. Alonso P1 currently. Feel like he can come out P5 or so. P6. Perez back up into P8. He's 7/10 behind Albon, fighting for position. Bessie down to P10. Sargent still holding on to that fastest lap.
And in front is Albon.
We'll go ahead and push
0.5
Perez. Running really good on his tire life.
Can use K1.
As we have Gasly and Hauger trying to unlap themselves. It's not going to matter because he's going to be coming into the pits anyways. It's going to be a fight between Piastri, Leclerc, and Verstappen unless Alonso can catch up to them. That's going to be Hauger coming in behind us as well. It's going to be his 3rd pit stop, I believe. All right, let's see here. Soft tires, 2.3 is the stop. Looking pretty good.
You're in clear air.
Leclerc is in the pits as well. Perez overtakes Albon.
Here we are, we're looking at
Gonna be
turn
sector
11.
2 that move on the
The
inside.
gap opens up for them.
So Perez running in the points finish right now. As long as he takes care of his tires. Alonso overtakes Leclerc. Well, stays ahead of Leclerc on the pits. Verstappen, they're probably alternating their pit stop for that. Alonso staying out in P3 ahead of Ocon. Very smart play on our part. That leaves Piastri and Verstappen to still come in.
Ocon just after 2 seconds
no,
behind.
they already pit.
So there are 17
So
laps to go at the
Alonso
end of this
provisional podium here as we get out onto the track.
one. Mode push, please. Mode push.
We have Perez pushing here. Nothing major here. We had a spin from Lindblad. He's back down to P16, unfortunately. He was running a very good race to start his season. It's Alonso 10.4 seconds behind the McLaren of Piastri. Verstappen holding the lead in the Ferrari. There's gonna be a lot of battery deployed there for both of our drivers within one lap. Like, not even half a lap. Gonna see if we need to conserve our fuel a little bit more. We've been having to play on conserve, so I don't know how our fuel is doing this season, but we'll have to take care of that. Let's go ahead and sim forward to the end of the race. All right, gonna be a yellow flag, 10 laps to go. See where this incident was. We Valtteri Bottas against Williams. That turn 4, turn 3.
What?
Little fender bender there between them.
And clearly then, not what everyone in the garage would have wanted to see.
It was between Russell and Bottas. See if somebody gets a penalty here. Alonso still holding on to P3. Norris 8.2 behind. Perez holding on to P8. 12.6 seconds ahead of Vesti. We got a big group between them, between Ocon and Perez. Penalty for Russell, causing a collision. Less than 10 laps to go. Doesn't have any battery to push. And neither does Perez. I don't know if that'll be upgrades, but that is a problem. Our ERS and fuel situation for the season doesn't look great. Or it could just be the track, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, let's go ahead and sim forward the last few laps.
Confirming you're starting the last time lap.
Copy.
All right, Alonso holding off a lapped Williams. Perez still behind Ocon, losing pace. We're positive on fuel. Let's keep it that way. Just fight to finish this race. Verstappen, Piastri, Alonso for our provisional podium. But Piastri is fighting Verstappen with Bottas. No, that's going to be Gasly in tow. As we watch this front of the field battle. Piastri gonna be making a move on the inside. Can he do it? Yes, he can. Can he hold on to it at the end of the lap? Side by side, Verstappen is not giving up here. And then, nope, that is still Gasly in the Porsche. I thought that was Alonso for a second. That's gonna be Verstappen P1, Alonso P3 behind Piastri, ahead of Leclerc.
Okay, that's the checkered flag.
It is a strong
P3.
finish for our drivers.
Well executed. Proud of you guys.
And there's the checkered flag. Max Verstappen is our winner.
Still showing great form in that Ferrari.
Astounding. I don't think anyone would deny them their victory lap after a race like that.
All right, Alonso P3. Oh, wrong dial. Let's see here. No other fights other than Vesti and Lindblad. Lindblad finishing in the points
And P8. P8.
ahead of Vesti.
Good job, team.
That's Albon in P9.
Yeah, good job there.
Lindblad, rookie, points in his first race. Even though it's one, it still counts. Sainz has component issues already. As we have the rest of the drivers coming across the line. Ricardo and Awasa. Was really feeling hopeful for Mercedes that race.
And that's another race done for Fernando Alonso.
And third place sees them round off today with a trophy to mark the occasion.
And the talented veteran rounds off another great drive, adding to his impressive F1 podium tally.
It's wonderful to see them take their first podium of the year. They had to earn it, that's for certain.
And by the looks of things here in Barcelona, the party's only just beginning. Well, Karun, how do you think they'll be feeling in the team garage at the end of that?
They'll certainly be pleased to have made the podium. A job well done for sure.
And with that, our time in Barcelona is done.
Now the teams will be looking ahead to Imola, where the season progresses with the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Get ready for some fierce competition.
All right, here we have our official results. Max Verstappen finishing ahead of Piastri and Fernando Alonso, gaining 4 positions off the race. Sergio Perez gaining 5. Charles Leclerc, Logan Sargent, and Lando Norris losing positions. Lindblad losing 4. Driver standings as it starts out: Max Verstappen, Piastri, Alonso. That looks pretty good here. Then constructors: Ferrari ahead of Monster Energy, McLaren, and then the High Tech GP leading Ford, Red Bull, Ford, Aston Martin, Honda, Audi Sport, and then that leaves Porsche, Haas, Williams, Andretti, and Mercedes scoreless for the first race of the season. Pit stops here. We get top 10. We get P9 with that 2090 for 2 points, giving us 6th place. All right, both our drivers met their target, so we lose out on a lot of money there. That is fine with me. All right, inbox ATR period starts today. All right, let's see what we want to do. We can do side pod and chassis. Take a look here. Chassis for top speed, DRS, and engine. Side pod for top speed, engine cooling. We need to improve DRS and dirty air tolerance. So let's go ahead and split it in 2. We'll split it in 2. All right. We need DRS. Car 1, car 2. We need DRS improvement. Total weight's not that much of a bother. DRS reduction. Let's see what it looks like on car 1. That'll be fine with me. Improve DRS for our car. And then hopefully it will be done by Melbourne. So we're looking forward to that. Throw $1 million into that. We still have our bonus, so let's go ahead and do side pods anyways, or the rest of our CFD. And we are looking at top speed, engine cooling, drag reduction, engine cooling, full front, minimum lifespan. Let's see how engine cooling would affect top speed. Probably the air ducts. We are looking for parts to affect Sergio Perez. We need his car to be as best as possible. Total extra weight +5, -16. Engine cooling -16. Oh my god, that is very effectful. That is a big impact. high speed. This is more for car 2, so let's see how the weight will. Minimum lifespan, 3 to 6 races for a side pod. We'll go with that. Another million. All right, we have all that going. Let's go ahead and fix the car livery. Edit. I have 2 of the same. Okay. That's all right. Apply changes and exit. That was probably accidental on my part. So we're gonna go ahead and sim forward to the results of the next 2 races. We'll see you guys at the results for Monza or Italy. All right, here we are. The results for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso started in pole. That's the stat we were trying to chase after at the end of last season, trying to get a pole position for a start of a race. He finishes P2, and then Sergio Perez ends up retiring from the race. I don't know what happened there. Alonso holding on to P3, Sergio Perez dropping down to P10 for the drivers' standings. And we're holding on to P3 against Red Bull in Constructors. Williams moves up to P8, Mercedes moves up to P9, leaving Haas and Cadillac the only ones to not score as of yet. Let's see what our top 10 finished. Dennis Hauger, Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, Ocon, Albon, Logan Sargent, Leclerc, Piastri, Alonso, Verstappen. See where Lindblad, he retired from the race. So not a very great start for the rookie on the grid. High Tech P8 with 2109 for 4 points. That drops us down to P8 in the point standings for fastest pit stop. Porsche moves up, Andretti Cadillac moves up, and Mercedes moves up. Their pit crew doing some work. He retired before his first pit stop. I don't know if that was a wreck or not, but we'll take a look at the car parts. Losing out on almost 500,000 from Alonso's contract bonus. Take a look at the damage from the car. We'll go ahead post race. Marco is red. Let's take a look at these. That was an incident. So we're gonna go ahead and replace the extra part, and replace the extra part. Make some more suspension and chassis. Powertrain is looking good. Everything else is on medium risk. So we have another chassis part being manufactured. That's suspension. This is the other one that we needed. We'll do 2 parts just in case. Are the rest of our parts coming in yet? No, we have 23 days for the underfloor, and then suspension for research. And then we'll see you guys for the results of Hungary here in a moment. All right, here we are for the results of the Hungaro Ring. Max Verstappen starting in P2 or P3, finishing in P1. Fernando Alonso starting and finishing in P2. That's Sergio Perez, loss of 4 positions. Daniel Ricciardo retired out of the race. And then everybody up to P11 were a lap down. That's going to be Verstappen, Alonso, Leclerc on the podium. Logan Sargent P5. See where Lindblad is, P13. Still not having a great start to his season. Looking to improve. Albon with Audi scoring a decent amount of points, as it looks like Verstappen is starting to pull away from Fernando Alonso, moving up against Piastri. So it's going to be a fight between Piastri and Alonso right now. I believe Leclerc can still fight that. Logan Sargent P5, Albon P6, passing Esteban Ocon. Lando Norris back there in P8. Liam Lawson, Vesti moving up. Vesti P10 right now with 4 points on the season. I don't know how I feel about letting him go, but we are running good. Sergio Perez, unfortunately falling into that second seat fiasco that he had in Red Bull before they let him go. Ferrari increasing their lead against High Tech GP. We passed McLaren in driver standings and constructor standings. We're only at 1 point ahead, so we're still a fight between Red Bull, McLaren, and High Tech Audi Sport moving up to P5, Aston Martin dropping down, Haas moving up, dropping all the other teams. Cadillac, the only team to not score so far in this first episode, so that's a pretty widespread scoring for all of the teams. Audi getting a lot more, handful more points, 5 more points, getting 2 of their drivers pit stops. Red Bull doing the same, and Aston Martin as well. Mercedes, Cadillac, Red Bull, Monster McLaren, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Audi Sport. We're already back down to P9 with 6 points. We need to see what our pit crews can do. 2.4 and 2.7s, or 2.2s for their pit stops. We dropped his target, so we only lose 42,000. Get about $1 million there. And some more parts have come in. There we go, manufacturing more of the suspension parts, as some of them failed. I'm not sure on which car. Car 1, front wing replacement, and I believe I just replaced a suspension on your car as well, but we'll take a look at car 2. I believe that was car 2. Post-race data. Yeah, suspension for Alonso. Mark the rest of that as red. We got sponsor plan coming up. We are borderline for the next episode. China, Miami, and Melbourne. We're gonna go ahead and simulate China like I said earlier. And then you know, we'll do a sprint weekend in Australia. So we'll simulate China and Miami, and then we'll do a sprint weekend in Australia for episode 2. So that will be the plans for the next episode. Our drivers sitting in P2 and P12 for the standings, as we're looking pretty good. P2 currently behind Ferrari. Our fight is with McLaren and Red Bull. I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode of the season, and we'll see you guys in the next one.